Fortunately, it may not have caught the first part of this stuff. We came upon this because this is all about reconciliation, and one form of that going on is a group called Braver Angels that is known to become nationwide. I think they have over 100 alliances throughout the country, and these gentlemen helped start the first one here in Marion County. Let me introduce them. Buddy Oswald was raised in Ocala. He graduated from the University of Florida in 1970s. He served 3 years in the Army Infantry Division, graduated from Stetson Law School in 1980. He was a partner with one of the more prestigious law firms in Ocala, the Ayers Custer firm, for 18 years. Realizing he had enough to do with immature people, he then went to teach high school seniors, U.S. government and economics for 17 years. And he brags he's now retired from everything that can pay a salary. So the price was right for him to come here. His co-partner in this was Greg Harrell. And I realized as he walked in, you all probably know these folks already, but let me just go ahead. Greg was raised in Ocala. I say Greg, usually in court, it'd have to be Mr. Harrell, but we'll depart from that. He's a graduate University of Virginia in the 1990s. He did a teaching fellowship in England for a year, which I did not know. I graduated from University of Florida Law School in the 1990s. Practiced law 14 years in Tallahassee, Miami, and Ocala. He finally went from one extreme to the other and made it to the middle here. He became general counsel to the Clerk of Courts back in 2013, and he has risen to the Marion County Clerk of Court now and Controller since 2021. One of his beloved duties is going to be the Secretary for the Board of County Commissioners, which brings him great joy.
And most importantly, I was taught in the 8th grade by Gwen Peeler. Okay.
I knew I'd forget the important.
Yeah.
He is now the president-elect of the Florida Court Clerks and Controllers. He is married to Dr. Stephanie Harrell, a local pediatrician, and have 2 kids. So he's about to find out what debt is when they go to school in a couple of years. This all came about because of the group of Braver Angels. These 2 are the co-chairs locally. I'm going to let them go into a little bit of the group, but the name came about from the first Abraham Lincoln inaugural speech. I'd like to try to summarize. Now, if you imagine this is 1861, the Civil War has just started. So if you think we live in difficult times for our country, you compare with that, at least not yet. This is the concluding part of his speech. We're not enemies, but friends. We must not be enemies. Though passion may have strained, it must not break our bonds of affection. The mystic cords of memory stretching from every battlefield and patriot grave to every living heart and hearthstone all over this broad land will yet swell the chorus of the Union, when again touched, as surely they will be, by the better angels of our nature. The name of the group is Braver Angels. I would present Buddy Oswald, Greg Harrell.
Well, thank y'all for having us. Can we get to the slideshow?
Yes.
This is very informal and very open. So as we go through it, if you have questions, shout them out and we'll try to address them. These photographs are just a reminder that we can do hard things. This is a barn raising, one of the last barns, probably. They're using what's called timber frame construction, which is the type of construction that we used before 2x4s were invented. And the caption here is from the master framer that was supervising the raising. Then he waved his arms and shouted, "Heave, ho, heave, lift till the sparks fly out of your eyes. It must go up. If it comes back, it will kill the whole of us." And they're doing this all by hand. We can do hard things, but hard things are hard. And so This is just a reminder that we can do hard things. And that's what Braver Angels is all about. Courageous citizenship, renewing a civic culture, building trust. Being able to have a conversation with our neighbors. That's the whole point. You got to start with a conversation. Can we go to the next slide? We start off every meeting with the Braver Angels way. This is basically a statement of what we believe. We state our views freely and fully without fear. We treat people who disagree with us with honesty, dignity, and respect. We welcome opportunities to engage with those whom we disagree. We believe all of us have blind spots, and none of us are not worth talking to. We seek to disagree accurately, avoiding exaggeration and stereotypes. We look for common ground where it exists, and if possible, find ways to work together. We believe that in disagreements, both sides share and learn. In Braver Angels, neither side is teaching the other or giving feedback on how to say or think things differently. And I believe y'all are studying the book by Monica Guzman. Monica Guzman is one of the principals in the Braver Angels leadership at the national level. Excellent book. I'm about halfway through it myself, and that's basically what Braver Angels is about. So go to the next slide, please. Short summary. Be curious, not judgmental. Just ask questions. And the next slide, please. And this is what we're doing. We're trying to get past the toxic politics. We're trying to have conversations. One of the things that's happened over the last 30, 40, 50 years is we've lost a shared culture, and that's you may have seen it in church attendance is down across all denominations nationwide. Civic organizations like the Kiwanis Club and the Rotary Club, attendance is way down across the nation. And so those used to be institutions where we would get together with people from that may think differently than we do, and we would have conversations with them, and we would pursue shared goals about how to make our community a better place to live. And we've lost that to a large extent. And so when you get on the internet and you're in an echo chamber and you're just listening to people that think like you, and you don't have to look them in the face and come to an agreement about a difficult issue, then we've lost something. So that we're trying to rebuild that with Braver Angels. The third bullet point is one of the keys. We don't want to be in a room with everybody that thinks like us. That's the whole point. We need to hear what other people have to say, because that shapes the way we think. And so, if you like what you hear, we would invite you to join us and bring a friend with you that thinks a little bit differently, that has a shared perspective.
If I may, buddy, let me jump in there in that this is an organization that Buddy has been a part of for quite some time, but given sort of the historical context he just laid out for you, I think I was a well-primed pump, if you will, when he reached out to me about this, just because, father of two, I guess sort of in the middle of my career, hopefully not towards the end yet, but becoming increasingly sort of disenchanted with what I was seeing going on around me, and people that, though maybe historically could have disagreed more civilly, really sort of separating themselves from each other, not working well together. And so when Buddy approached me about this, and he and I fortunately have worked together in multiple contexts throughout the years, sort of a great big brother figure to me that I've looked up to for a long time. It was tonic or music to my ears because this seems exactly the type of thing that we ought to be doing. And I tell folks at the clerk's office when I bring on new team members, I say that for the job we need to do, I don't really care, and it's not really relevant, whatever your national politics might be or what you think about what's going on in Tallahassee. But I do absolutely very much care about what we do here at the local level. And our customers and fellow citizens and fellow stakeholders need to be able to leave whatever dealings they have with us here thinking, number one, we treated them with dignity and respect. Number two, hopefully we help them get closer to getting done whatever it is that brought them to us that they need to get done. And because there is such a understandably bad perception of government, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Nobody's going to leave the clerk and comptroller's office doing cartwheels, giving us 5-star reviews for just having paid a traffic ticket or that kind of thing. But if they can say those people helped me, they were not the problem. I think we do a good job of that, and I'm proud of that. But what I started seeing more and more was less and less of that just in the general culture, and that's not great. And I don't want to leave my kids with more than their fair share of fixing problems that my generation helped create or left them with. That's not a legacy I wanted to leave and don't want to leave. And I think, without getting into the weeds too much about current politics, I think we've hit a point where we have to no longer just sort of grin and bear it. We have to be involved. And if we're going to have a place where we want to live, where we want to raise children and support the next generation in a way that we think we ought to, we've got to speak up. We've got to be engaged. We have to be involved, and we have to show that it can be done in a civil manner. And I have been struck by the quality of folks, some of whom are in this room that are hungry for that too, that have come out and appeared. It has been very reassuring. And just the fact that we're here today and to see you guys assembled and know the quality and caliber of people in this room, it's awesome. You guys have inspired me in my own life in different ways. And I appreciate that. But we're at a point where we have to do that. And if we're going to have the country and nation that we want and that we think we were designed to be, then we have to advocate for that. We have to participate in that. And that's what this is all about, I think.
Yep. Next slide.
Oops, sorry.
Okay, so what do we do? There's the national organization, which is very well organized. They do a really good job. And then they have local alliances like the Marion County Alliance. The national organization has workshops that are online. I was looking at the calendar, the next one that you can go online, and they have a depolarization workshop on March the 21st. They have debates, and their debate format is not a traditional debate format. It's more of an opportunity for people to present their personal views on one side of an issue or another. And the next debate that they're going to have April 9th is on the voter ID, whether or not you would support the voter ID. They have a format for conversations. One, if you want to have a conversation with someone, they'll pair you up with someone that has maybe a differing point of view than you do on a particular subject. All of these activities and workshops are structured. It's not a free-for-all. They're all structured with rules and procedures that are designed to promote civil discourse. Go back to the Braver Angels way. They're designed to promote those values and to take place in a framework within those values. So it's not just a free-for-all. We'll try to get to the dojo where they've created AI personalities that you can have a conversation with to practice your skills. And then they've got an AI coach that'll tell you how you did.
It's a useful tool right before Thanksgiving. If you have that crazy cousin that's coming to dinner, you know, you spar with him or her beforehand. Get it out of your system.
Exactly. And then the depolarization or the bridging the divide, the conversations, that's just the first step, because we've got serious problems that need to be solved. And to solve those problems, we've got to be able to have a conversation. So the next step, after we can have the conversation, citizen-led solutions. And this is both at the local level and at the national level. How can we find common ground? And so one of the activities that Braver Angels has is what they call the Common Ground workshop, where you have a small number, maybe 6 to 10, equally balanced, reds and blues, and you have a particular issue and say, okay, so it's immigration. Are there 4 or 5 points that we can agree on with regard to immigration? And you work through that, and hopefully the group can come together and say, yeah, we can. There's some we can't agree to, but here's 4 or 5 points that we can agree to. And now you can go to your elected representatives and say, look, here's a balanced group of reds and blues. We agree on this. This is what we want you to work on. And you can promote solutions with your elected representatives. And so that's the citizen-led solutions. And then it's also related to what's called deliberative democracy, or there was a book that was written 10 or 12 years ago titled Democracy When the People Are Thinking, which would be a good idea. And so that's the next step. Let's solve some problems. Let's get together and solve some problems. And so that's the whole idea. And I'm not sure what the next slide is.
Buddy, I'll just say too, one thing that I was curious about initially regarding Braver Angels, and I wasn't sure I necessarily agreed with it, but I think in time, I've seen the wisdom of it, to start an alliance locally, the way Buddy sort of got going. You can't just do it from one perspective. The way Braver Angels is set up is you have to have sort of a representative or a chair that leans one way or the other, and you have to have one of each. And so that balance is important, I think, to not be perceived as and not actually be sort of an activist group one way or the other, but to really drive home the fact that we're not getting at partisanship here, we're getting at that common ground.
This is our Marion County Alliance, just our leadership team. And then you see a lot of blanks there. We have opportunities for people that want to get involved and get active. Tech support, public relations, moderators. There's Braver Angels has a moderator training, and we've had Pat Mayer is the co-chair of the Tampa Bay Alliance. She came up to a couple of our initial meetings. She's been trained as a moderator, and she did an excellent job. I'm going through that training now. It's a process. And so the more moderators we have, the more we can do. And our next meeting is going to be Thursday, March 26th. Constitutional issues related to immigration enforcement. We've got excellent panel lined up. judges and attorneys that are knowledgeable in that area, where they can help us learn, what are the constitutional issues that relate to immigration enforcement. And we've seen in the news where there are some issues with that.
Did we change the time to 5:15,
Yes,
buddy?
we did.
Okay.
Thank you for pointing that out. 5:15. So we wanted to get as much time as possible for the panelists to be able to discuss some of these issues and for people in the audience to ask questions.
And in case you were wondering, the library closes at 7 o'clock. So we
Right.
can't.
Hence the extra 15 minutes time. Let's get more
Which
juice.
is actually good structure for me, otherwise I'd keep going. Let's see, next slide. Okay, these are just, maybe we can just go on to the dojo now, switch it, and we switch over to the Braver Angels website and just take a look at that.
I'll just say anecdotally while we're bringing that up, Colonel Slagle and I are both scouters, and one of the things that is really neat about scouting is the national program does have a lot of great materials and resources you can use, and Braver Angels does as well. So that's always helpful at the local level.
Let's see, this is the national website, and we'll look at a couple of things here just to get you familiar with it. If you could click on the experience button and just, so this is, if there's some things that you want to do, attend a workshop, one-on-one conversation, request a speaker, let's go down to the find the local alliance first, if we could.
It's just at the bottom of
At
that
the, on that same button.
Oh, the same book.
Yes, ma'am.
And down at the
Oh,
bottom, there you go.
Okay.
Because it's a little bit, it's not really intuitive. So view, and then view the map
At the bottom.
at the bottom. Down the
There you
blue,
go.
where it
Yep.
says,
Yeah, just a little bit for that.
there you go. And if you'll, over on the side where it says state, if you'll click on,
She's got it there too, sort of.
Right.
She's on it.
oh, okay. So click on,
Yep, yep. I think they've got the dot a little
Yeah.
bit low, but that's just me.
let's see. Okay, oh, yeah, okay, now scroll down just a little bit so we can see the information.
Yeah.
There we go. Now, if you want to join us, which we would encourage you to do, is $12 a year. And the way you do that is go, if you want the money to go to our local alliance, and the way they're structured, you would click on the donate button beside my name or Greg's name, and it'll put our alliance number in there, and then your joining fee, or if you want to make a donation, that money will come to our alliance and will help us do things. And it's actually $12 a year is the cost of the membership. If you want to donate more, of course, you're free to do that. And we're going to go, now let's go to the dojo.
Mhm.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you have to be a member to participate in the dojo. So, let's see, click, yep, enter the dojo. And click to get started. Sign in with Braver Angels, and I can put my yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see, scroll down just a little bit. And yep, click to get started now. Okay, they'll have, and if you could scroll down just a little bit.
They'll have a description
There
of
you go,
each
right.
persona.
Yeah. Okay, there's 20 about 20 of these personalities. And they've got different personas. Here you have David Sterling. He's a committed conservative. And they've also have levels of difficulty. Okay, so he's going to be easy to talk to.
See, buddy, the conservative's easy, the outsider.
Are they real people?
No, but the personalities are taken from Pew Research. Okay, so there's been a lot of research done about the positions that different people have and the categorizations. And so these are just, different aspects of their personalities and experience. So for David, he favors limited government, pro-business, international foreign policy, moderate views on immigration. Whereas Chloe, deep frustration with the political system. She's younger, 22. Believes the laws need to be completely rebuilt to address bias. Let's see, can you scroll down a little bit? Let's look at it.
There's several.
Yeah, there's about 20 altogether. So let's practice. Who would y'all want to have a conversation with? Who will let?
These are like adult video games.
Things that you can put yourself in one of those categories.
Yeah,
Remember you made descriptions.
correct.
I tried this yesterday and I sparred with a faith and something, 2 F's from Texas. And I didn't notice whether he was hard, easy, or medium, but I thought he was really hard.
Oh, yeah.
He did not
Yeah.
budge.
So this is the type of thing where AI is being used in kind of interesting ways, right? So they use the demographics based on the sort of research of voting history and that sort of thing to concoct these personalities. But it is amazing how dynamic they can be in interacting with you.
And you may want to make some notes as we get started. I have pencils if you need a pencil.
This guy was a teacher.
Yeah. No offense, but this is the most seasoned group I've ever seen Buddy teach. And I should point out, today is Buddy's 75th birthday. So.
Okay, who has a preference on who we would like to?
There are more too, if you want to see
We
more.
just scroll down some more.
Hard.
They can play.
It was up one. That's the faith and flag guy I did, Bob Miller, hard.
Yeah. Sort of like movie descriptors when you're trying to find a movie on Netflix. They're very specific.
Okay, Eleanor Jones.
Eleanor Jones. Okay.
Medium.
I don't know. I wonder if this group should start with somebody who's a little bit right of center.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that.
Maybe medium, ambivalent.
Ambivalent, right?
Garcia?
Medium.
Are we gonna chat with Alex? Is that the plan?
Yeah, click on that. And it offers you some conversation starters. You don't have to use those. You could imagine you were somewhere in a group and you just walked up to somebody and wanted to start having a conversation. But the options here for conversation starters, they're refreshed. So let's see. Keep scroll down. Look, let's see where.
Maybe learn more.
Yeah, click on the learn more Right there.
what's
Sort of the middle.
Oh, I
Yes,
see.
There you go. No,
So up at the top of that box, there's a purple button that says conversation starters.
that's where we need to
So
be.
if we click out of that to go back,
Close that.
yes, on the top right,
There-
that the X.
X.
Purple X.
Not
There you
seeing.
There you go.
We're back up.
I'm not seeing
Yeah,
it.
you're right.
It's-
Let me see if I can help you. Yeah, just, can you click on that?
Oh, I can.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
It says conversation starters.
Yeah. I think that's just that section.
Scroll down, maybe.
Or just tap.
There you go. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So you can choose one of
Would you
these.
be open to talking about the current border situation? I'm curious about your perspective.
Why don't you click
Or
on-
can we discuss?
Oh.
Okay. that's
There we
good.
go.
We're started.
That's fine. Would you be open to talking about, immigration? I'd appreciate hearing your perspective if now's a good time. Okay. Yeah, buddy, immigration's a pretty hot topic right now. Always seems to be. From what I'm seeing, there's still a lot of back and forth at the border, with some folks saying things are more under control, while others are really worried about how aggressive the enforcement has gotten. It's a tough spot because you want secure borders, but you also don't want to lose that idea of America being open to people, you know? It feels like there's no easy answer, and honestly, the political talk around it just makes it even more complicated. So take just a minute and jot down, if you were in this conversation with Alex, what would your next response be? What would you say?
Your non-committal moderate response.
And the AI coach over here has given you a 10 out of 10. She started the conversation with an excellent
Thank you.
display
You're doing
of
great.
curiosity and respect,
I don't know.
setting a cooperative tone and inviting Alex to share their perspective. Keep this open and inquisitive approach as the conversation progresses. So, is there something in what Alex has said that you can pick out and address that you would like to continue the conversation with? How would you respond to, let's
Yeah.
give people about 2 minutes maybe to write down their responses, and then we'll have someone share their response.
If you're devious like me, you like to try and provoke them. Just to see what the AI comes up with.
You have a pencil, buddy? I find somewhere.
Anybody else?
The other options are if you just have some, brief things you want to do, we can write those down and compose them as we go along.
Any way you could enlarge that?
Yeah, let's,
I think
I
we're
don't
about
know.
as big
I
as.
think
we
that
can
may
get.
be.
It is hard to read, isn't it? Yeah.
There's a way it can be enlarged, but we're way too old to figure out how.
Probably that's true.
I'll just speak for myself, sorry.
Of a control plus?
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I don't want to mess it up. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, that's a little bit. That good? One more or that good?
Better.
I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Mhm. Did you do control plus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still teaching. It's good.
It takes about 15 more seconds and we'll try some out.
You finished, go ahead and pass them down this way. Unless
Well,
you're
we can just share some out if we want to, Judge.
Okay.
Bob, I think you had your hand up. How would you
Yeah,
respond?
this is probably not the most diplomatic way to say this. Bear with me.
I like it.
Find out.
Why do you say we all want secure borders? Perhaps there are other opinions.
Okay.
See, I'm not a great pepper. Perhaps there. Let her rip.
Responds very fast.
Yeah, Alex is quicker than me.
Okay, that's actually pretty good. Bob, you got a 9 out of 10. So you're effectively using listening skills. You listened to what he had to say about open borders. You're asking a clarifying question. Understand perspective. So continue to ask open-ended questions to explore his underlying value. And the response was, you're right, buddy. All might be too strong a word. There are definitely different ways people see it. But for me, I think for a lot of folks, the idea of secure borders comes down to national sovereignty and just having a handle on who's coming in and out. It's about maintaining some level of order and making sure that we can manage resources effectively, especially when you hear about the strain on communities at the border. It's not about being unwelcoming, but about having a controlled process. So then there's an option to continue there. Yes, sir.
Well, I was gonna ask a question, of the chat, as well. Do you have any personal experience with any recent immigrants? And if so, what were the circumstances?
Okay, so that would fit this, to continue the conversation, that would actually fit here also.
Yeah. Could you read it again or take? Yeah.
Do you have any personal experience with any recent immigrants?
Mhm.
And if so, what were the circumstances?
Yeah. I call it the American Bandstand score. Never gone
That's quick,
there.
really quick. Wow.
Okay, another 9. Y'all are pretty good.
The speed of AI is frightening.
Yeah, same, another 9. Yeah, I've definitely met a few folks who've come here recently, buddy, working in IT support. You run into all kinds of people. And a couple of my coworkers are actually from Central America, came up here a few years back. They're good people, hard workers, just trying to make a better life for their families, which I can respect. It just shows you that everyone's got their own story, you know? So this was a good conversation. Yes.
So I would say, I know it is a complicated issue, Alex, but I would like to know what solutions you have considered.
Okay, good. Solutions.
Solutions.
Yeah. Okay. Right, exactly.
Y'all are really good.
I know.
Number 9.
Hey.
I have
It's
to
a
tell
A
you,
class.
y'all are a lot better than I am.
But he says, what's your problem, Alex?
Okay, that's a big question. And honestly, it feels like there are no easy answers. For me, it comes down to needing a system that's both secure and fair. We definitely need to get a better handle on the border, make sure it's controlled and orderly. because it's just basic national security and managing resources. But at the same time, can't lose sight of the fact that people want to come here for opportunity. So figuring out a more efficient and clear pathway, legal pathway for those who want to contribute seems pretty important too. It's about finding balance, you know?
What about those?
If they can.
So what if, like, what political party do you feel like has the best answers or what parts of each?
All
Yeah.
right, let's see where that goes.
Because I think everybody can agree to that. Like
Yeah,
what you're
right,
saying right
right.
there is very agreeable to
Yeah.
everybody. So now it's like, okay, let's dig in. What side do you think has the best answers and why? And what are the answers that you think are best?
All right, we're gonna break the internet here. Better yet, what if it gives us an answer? All right, I like it.
There you go. I mean, that's it.
We stuck on the same scoring? Nope. It was- No, nobody puts Alex in a corner.
Okay, so from the coach's standpoint, with that,
Not explicitly acknowledge.
we haven't explicitly acknowledged Alex's previous points about the complexity and the need for balance. You could try acknowledging previous statements about the need for both security and fairness.
Or, yeah, I guess I could have said, I agree with you and all this, everything that you previously I agree with. So who do you think? I mean, that would probably
Yeah.
give me a better.
And
score,
I-
but
Yeah,
whatever.
what's neat so much is not the content and the substance, but the way it equips you to better engage and have the dialogue, right?
Right,
Yeah.
and this is practice. I mean, here you've got time to think about what they have said and how you would respond. Whereas in a live conversation, you don't have that time. You just, so this gives you an opportunity to practice the skills. And for example, sometimes you're gonna run into a conversation that you can tell right off the bat is gonna be a dead end. And it's not gonna have a good outcome. So how do you get out of that conversation without escalating the environment? And this gives you the opportunity to practice that. So what are some different phrases or some different responses? If you're at the point where you want to get out of the conversation, how can you do that in a civil manner? How much time do we?
Are you, is the purpose of this contemplating that you're taking these skills to a one-on-one in-person conversation? Or is this just simply to practice your skills by interacting online?
It's to help you learn the skills to operate in the real world.
Because there's a lot more to a one-on-one conversation. There's facial expression, there's tone.
That's true.
You get all these things,
Yeah.
and so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because I could ask that question like that with a smile on my face
Mhm.
and, you know, I have a little bit of a southern drawl, which I think allows me to, you know, and stuff.
Bless your heart, Alex. But you're full of crap.
Or to a one-on-one, that's all I'm saying.
Sure,
That's
yeah.
why I'm just trying to understand what this the tool is for.
Yeah, I think it is to take it out into the real world, but to your point, it does have, limited, the AI will improve for better or worse. Yeah, yes, that's right. That's right.
Real time.
That is.
That's right.
Would
That's
be a
true.
Zoom
Yeah.
conference with somebody, maybe in Florida, maybe across the country.
And I will say one thing I had a question about when Buddy and I first started talking about this was, I struggle with I'll just call them the world is flat people, because the world is not flat. And, I respect your viewpoint. That's difficult for me. But I think, I made peace with the fact that there are civil diplomatic ways to, again, we're not trying to change or persuade, especially that mentality. But there is enough of us still, I'll just say, that we can disagree civilly, but we're not going to change, white is black or black is white, where you're just like, that's demonstrably false. Because there is that element going on right now, and that's kind of why we are where we are. But I think this is just Greg talking now, not Braver Angels or Buddy, but I think, you make hay where you can, and we need to reestablish civility and common ground with people that are willing to be reasonable and talk. We're not trying to negotiate. We're just trying to understand each other and see where that common ground is. But I think we'd be naive if we didn't acknowledge the fact now there are folks that cloud cuckoo land, and you just let that be. You just let that be.
They don't show up the way we.
Well,
Is that right
sometimes they do, and they, from what our experience with the few meetings that we've had and what I've heard other people talk about, it's rare for those people to show up at Braver Angels and cause problems and the sense of interfering with what we want to try to do. But I was watching one of the debates that was on Zoom, and I forget what the topic was, but the woman said that, well, the world was created 8,763 years ago. And I know that that's a fact because the Bible says it. And I was like, I'm not sure about that. But there's some people that you're not going to be able, you're not trying to convince them, but you're not going to be able to have a productive conversation with. And that's what I was mentioning a minute ago. That's a conversation I'm going to try to exit from pretty quickly before I get myself in trouble. And I believe it's a small percentage of people that are like that. But like Greg was saying, there's a wide margin in the middle that we can have a conversation with. And I saw several hands up back in the back.
There was something on his original statement about aggression at the border. I have a real problem with the aggression that's going on. I just wondered how that would respond to the question about aggression.
Here you go. At the back at the beginning.
Yeah, I'm one of those really worried about the aggression and the enforcement. Can we talk more about that for something?
Yeah. And I will say just personally, I'll sort of, as a lifelong moderate conservative Republican of what I thought the Republican Party was, in a county that is still politically pretty red, I felt like I needed to be a part of this type of group, even though there are large sectors of the right-leaning team, group, party in this area that think even participating in this type of group is not right, wrong. And the fact that we are there and that I've been amongst those folks in my campaigning activities and political activities was all the more reason where I felt like I had to, because there's, to me, that only leads to distancing and no cooperation and work together. And might there be some political cost, ultimately to me sort of participating in this type of group? Yeah, but okay. Well, we also have principles and we have to stand up for them. So.
In terms of the flat earthers in the, the world, whatever, those, to me, in my mind, those are not things that necessarily affect public policy. So those can be things unless and until they start affecting the community. You can believe whatever you want to believe. But it's when those things start affecting public policy that
Sure.
it's something that we even need to consider discussing with someone,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like that can be something that's just, okay, well, great.
Yeah.
You think the earth is flat, but that has nothing to do with what we're doing. And I think maybe probably in terms of my personal self, where that becomes a problem is with vaccines and medications and that kind of thing, because
Yeah.
then you are now starting to
Right.
affect public health.
Sure.
And then that becomes a problem. So those are where those things get ticky-tacky.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I think some of the, like, and people never landed on the moon. Okay, that's fine. You can believe all of that here, but when it starts affecting NASA policy, then we've got problems.
Well, and not try to land the plane as far as how things relate to faith and church and, Sunday school class and that sort of thing is I think we as Christians have to think about, what Jesus would in the Bible tell us. And there is far wide ranging opinion on what we're supposedly instructed there. But, we have to be mindful of that.
And if you look at the Braver Angels Way that we showed at the beginning, a couple of points there. Number one, toward the middle, it says, we want to be accurate in what we're saying, without exaggeration. We're not going to minimize it. We want to find the truth of what it is that we're talking about. And that's going to require a frank disagree accurately, avoiding exaggeration and stereotypes. That's the key. But state our views freely and fully without fear. Those are going to be hard conversations sometimes. This is not easy stuff. This is hard. But if we want to be able to solve problems, we've got to find the courage and the skill to be able to have these conversations. Yes, we had a question right here.
Is this group then only for educated people? Is this,
No.
I mean, are you having the guy that didn't even maybe finish high school? Is he gonna be in this group? Is he allowed in this group? Is he encouraged? Because, this is very more on the educated personality of people. I haven't heard anything that sounds like it's just the guy that's not educated, maybe even be beyond high school. It's all professionals.
Well, we're open to everybody. We would encourage everybody to attend and practice and participate. And at the last meeting, the issue was the kratom, the drug kratom. And we had quite a few people that were not professional people that had personal experience with that drug that showed up and participated. And I thought it was a good discussion. They added a lot to the perspective of how that drug has benefited them, and gave some balance to what otherwise would have been, no, we need to get rid of it. Having said that, what is it what can we do to attract those people and allow sincere participation? That's a whole different question. But the answer is yes, they're welcome and we're open and we would encourage them. How can we do that? That's what we would like to know. Go ahead.
Is Rainbow Angels open to going beyond the debate into, for example, joint experiences, going to the border, for example? I'm just being a little bit extreme, but because people's minds aren't changed, as I have personal experience. So my argument, it's it's experiential opportunities that.
Doing together,
That-
shared missions.
Well, and that's where the workshops come in, that are personal, in person rather than online, where you can share those experiences. Local alliances have a lot of freedom within the national organization about how to accomplish the mission. On the national level, there is an immigration, let's see if we can go back to the
There.
up there.
Can I exit out of this at this point?
Yes. Okay, under maybe experience, or let's see, go back to the what do we do? They've got all of these different initiatives, arts, education, faith, media, network, politics. And then, let's see, the take action button. Let's see, we're at the immigration initiative. Click on that. This is at the national level, Citizens Commission on Immigration, where the goal is to find common ground, cross the divide on immigration, and then to take that to Congress. And there is a caucus in Congress. Get the exact name of it.
The results.
Yeah, it's a bipartisan,
Yeah.
moderate members of Congress that have, they've embraced the Braver Angels mission, and the national leadership of Braver Angels has met with them a number of times, and it's been very productive. And so this is a particular initiative.
That's our district.
Yeah, so these are opportunities, and it just a note. The National Braver Angels organization has been in existence in this form for about 10 years. It's going through somewhat of a restructuring where they're refocusing, developing strategic plan and initiatives for how to pursue the next 5 years or so. And we're at the same point with the Marion County Alliance. We have a lot of flexibility. There's a lot that we can do. So with the leadership team, we need to figure out in the next few months, what do we want the next year, the next 5 years to look like? And these are all possibilities. And we would welcome your input, your thoughts, your suggestions about how we can best promote the vision and the mission.
Are there any thoughts in your group about local issues that come up that get?
Yeah. Property tax.
Address those?
There I saw Osceola County provides free college education for every high school graduate in Osceola County. Why don't we do that here? Local initiatives, in homeless population that we have here. I mean, there's all kinds of things that we could pursue on a local level. We've got a lot of problems, but we have a lot of opportunity. And
As far as 2026 is concerned, we have some obvious things on the calendar and the horizon with the, how do you say it, sesquicentennial or bicentennial, whatever, the 250th, trying to maybe help come alongside the celebrations and that sort of thing with maybe a little more reflective thought and commentary about what it is that makes us American, what is the American experiment, really rolling up our sleeves and looking at that and talking about that. good to wave the flag and be patriotic, but also maybe take a moment to think about what that means. And then also with the midterm elections coming up, have an opportunity maybe to have our supervisor of elections, Mr. Wilcox, come talk about sort of what is and isn't really an issue at the local level. You know, there's a lot of national narratives, but he knows his stuff. He's excellent. I'm really proud to work alongside him, and he can dispel a lot of sort of the false narratives. But there's a lot of material this year that sort of sets up or tees up naturally. But there's work to be done, I think, in sort of rebuilding who we are and the fabric of who we are together, not just this year, but beyond.
This is just a comment. I think this is so important because we all know we're supposed to be respectful. We all know we're supposed to be active listeners, but when we get into a conversation with someone and we don't see eye to eye, it is so easy to just, okay, what can I say next? To convince this person that they're wrong. And I think I think the practice is great because it just reminds us of how to do that. And I just applaud you. We're one of 4 alliances in the state of Florida. It looks like there's only 4 dots.
Right.
So I applaud you for bringing that to this county. I think that's wonderful. And I've noticed that there are high school students at
Yeah.
the meetings.
Mhm.
So that gives me hope too. And maybe there's a way to broaden that young base.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, there's a lot of activity in Florida right now. There's several other alliances that are organizing. There's one in Lake County, I think, and some others.
There's nothing in New Orleans.
Baton Rouge.
Okay, and any other questions before we wind up? Thank you all for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
I guess I turned
No,
the job over to you.
You did
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
See, it worked.
I can turn it off. I can turn it off.
Yeah. Hopefully I didn't do any damage there.
Well, I have often thought, I don't want to make this comment. Yeah. I've often thought. Yeah.
I get a picture of it.
White structure